What's up, everybody? Give you a view of my little camping area here. Very nice. Thank you, Pepe. Also have some food. Oh, my pumpkin. Sounds like anything. Messing straight nets out here on the yeah. One's right underneath me. With the cat fighting going on earlier. Smoking, a combination of, let me grab it here, a little bit of Peterson's like out of my Ronaldo glove box. Stuff used to be very bold back then. It's not as challenging to smoke these days. It used to be a couple years ago. But still, Dark Fire Kentucky, it's still a bold blend, but it's not nearly as overpowering as what I remember. But if you want to smoke a pipe tobacco, you want to feel like you're smoking something, this is a good recommendation. I mixed a little bit of McBaron Scottish flake, which I got which I'm carrying in my Peterson's University tin, but I've already smoked all of it. What is everybody planning on smoking this weekend? Or what are you smoking right now, actually? See if I can bring my friend out here. He doesn't want to come. Never stayed in a trailer before. But, modern renovations, it's amazing how hotel like you could make an accommodation like that. That could be Wi-Fi, got bathroom, DIY station that I'm in is about a half hour away from Johnson City. So, I mean, technically, it's somewhere in the place of Presbyterian mixture. Never had it. And I'm doing all this. It's amazing. I don't know what the video quality, the audio quality, but doing this. I have like 2 bars. The Nelly 320. Never smoked that. Big pipe. No. Mm. There aren't a lot of mixtures. You know, another underneath feet. Kind of have arrow. That he's either printing or minutes. Not quite. Pepe, how is the video quality? Is it 80, 320? Mm. Pepe, how about now? Got power here. I'm going to turn off the music as well. How's the sound now? I just unplugged these. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got it. I'll keep the music on in that case. Highly patient. Oh, there we go. Hearing a little bit of growl from the cat underneath me. A little bit of grumbling going on. I agree, Isaac. I got a little cat scratch fever here earlier. But that's from the cat being nice to me. This is the new cat. It just came around about 20 minutes ago. This, that's my friend right there. That's the good cat. Beautiful cat. Isaac, I've had Dan Tobacco. I had Patriot Flake. back in the day. I've not had any other Dan tobacco though, as far as I can recall. Patriot, I recall, was kind of a bright Virginia, similar to. Trying to think here. What's the brightest Virginia I've ever had? Or a Golden Slice, but without the topping. It's in that genre of tobaccos. Ah, thank you, Isaac. Appreciate that. I'm actually thinking of. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the alternative YouTube, which is called Twitch. It's mostly Twitch is kind of like a live streaming platform. If any of you have kids, then you know what Twitch is, but it's mostly used for gamers, video gamers, computer gamers. But Twitch is kind of blown up, especially in the chess community. I'm a big chess fan. It's a lot less restrictive. So on Twitch, yes, you have subscribers. You can charge for membership, etc. But more importantly, the thing I like about Twitch is you can play music. You don't have to worry about copyright claims. You can do whatever you want. It's a little more of a private network, and it's something I was starting to think about for the sole reason that when I do these live streams, I'd like to play music in the background without getting interference or restrictions. I think it's the way of the future. Pepe, my dream life. My dream is like that in a forest with enough tobacco and my pipes, my books, my chess sets in my case. Never come back to the city. You know, I can identify with that. I purposely tried to move to a part of the country that I could be within about 90 miles of the Appalachians. I never didn't necessarily want to necessarily live in the mountains, but I wanted to be within a weekend drive or a day trip to the mountains. Not much, never much of a beach type of guy, but I like the idea that if I wake up on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m., I can take off. I can be in the mountains by 9:30, 10 o'clock, spend a couple hours, and drive back. Since I have a hot spot here, I can actually walk this laptop around. So I'll show you the river. We're gonna go mobile. All right, let's do this. Hopefully the video quality is decent. So there's the cat underneath my seat. River's right behind me. I'm gonna very carefully walk the laptop down here. Now I'll pan from left to right as slowly as I can. And then back again. Let's go down here a little ways. For those of you who can't camp this weekend, you can have a 30-second vicarious camping trip. It gets a little treacherous down here.
and then we'll march back up. It's a good thing I have hiking shoes on. Here's the campfire site for this evening. And the accommodations back there. Ooh. That was steep. I'm a runner. I'm still out of breath. No, I'm by myself. I take that back. I'm not by myself. There's my companion. But I did not know him until I got here. Yeah, I would almost give you a tour, but the lighting's almost too dark. I'd love to set the laptop up this way, but maybe later on tonight. I need to use that hammock back there as well. Big fan of hammocks. They're a little tricky to get into and out of. All right, we got one person smoking Presbyterian. You have Jenny. I'll show you here in a second. What's everybody else smoking? I'm smoking about 80% Irish Flake and about 20% McBaron's Scottish mixture or Scottish Flake. I forget. Scottish something. It's broken up. Quiet night. Whoever said I should get on Twitch earlier, does anybody know? Are there any pipe smokers who are on Twitch? That's a question that I have. I haven't looked yet. It'd be easy to find out. Isaac, I've had 3Ps. Man, 3Ps you got to cut up really fine. That stuff is so dense. I never had the patience to really smoke it myself. I mean, I bought it and I smoked it. But, uh-oh, we got some cat action here. That's beautiful. I'm just going to turn the camera on him for a second. Yeah, so anyway, 3Ps, super strong, super dark. If you want to know you're smoking something, you could do Irish Flake, but 3Ps would be completely different flavor, but equally as strong. I would even say stronger, darker, more robust. But it's hard to get lit and hard to keep going, so you got to really be patient with it. Me, myself, I'm kind of an impatient pipe smoker, so it's not the ideal blend for me, 3Ps that is. I never thought I was a cat guy, but the last 24 hours have really made me kind of reevaluate that. I grew up with mainly dogs, but hanging out with this cat yesterday afternoon, same campsite, to change my opinion about the viability of having a cat, long-term viability. I'm going to agree with Yevgeny here. Dry that stuff out, chop it up super fine, maybe mix it with a little bit of something to help it burn. Yunjebi, I'm catching up on the comments here. Smoking some Watch City's Rhythm and Blues. I've heard a couple things about Watch City. I have not bought it myself. I think Stuff and Things reviewed or something similar, maybe the same manufacturer, same blender. Would anybody here consider themselves an audiophile? Anybody into high-end audio equipment? If so, I highly recommend this little device. If you're into high-end headphones specifically, it's a combination of a DAC, a digital analog converter, that also has a miniature amplifier in it. So if you buy high-end headphones that are hard to push, this can give you a fairly similar experience with having a massive amplifier in your living room. It's good for on the go. Also plugs into your phone. It's probably been the best. Whoa. Probably been the best investment I've made this summer. My retrohaling technique has changed over time. I was always relatively good at it. I'm going to say within 6 months of smoking a pipe, which started about 6 years ago. I think, like most of us, I was subconsciously rehealing fairly quickly without knowing how to force it to happen. It would just happen kind of spontaneously, but I would notice it. And it probably took me another couple months to figure out, like, how do you get smoke to come out your. But after about a year, then I knew how to do it pretty religiously. And now I get to kind of play around with holding smoke and retrohaling in little segments, not just like one big plume. Kind of like wine tasting. It's very good for kind of extracting as much flavor as you can out of a blend. Maybe like 3 or 4 distinct exhales out the nose. That's what I can manage so far. You get so much flavor through the nasal cavity. It's crazy. Yajebi, my sister's father-in-law, pretty much the only other pipe smoker I know in real life, has been smoking a pipe for 30 years and still doesn't retro. Yunjevi, I have two questions for you. Number one, does he know how to do it but chooses not to? Or is it more of he doesn't know how to do it and therefore has no control in his ability to try? I would guess that he doesn't know how to force it to happen. But I could be wrong. I do know some cigar smokers who do know how to retrohale, but they purposely don't because they only know how to retrohale very aggressively. And I have some personal experience with this where, last summer I was hanging out at my favorite spot in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was trying to get some guys who were already smoking a cigar to just give it a shot. And they did it, and they would take a drag. I'll give you an example here. They would just like force it out, and they said it was too bold, it was too much, it was overpowering. But I'm like, in retrohaling, you can relax and just let the smoke flow out your nose. You don't have to like push it out like a vacuum cleaner. So I think that's maybe one of the hard things for some cigar smokers to appreciate. It's all about patience. I'm a very impatient person. Probably one reason I really enjoy smoking the pipe. It definitely teaches you patience. All the apparatus, pipe cleaners, pipe tools, lighters, tobacco, pipe bag, then carry your tobacco with you. It's not a lightweight hobby. Cigars are so much easier. There's no tools, there's no apparatus. You light it once, you're done. Not as messy. There's no cleanup. You just throw the cigar away. All right, let me catch up on the comments here. Pepe, I learned to smoke with the tutorials of Mutton Chop. I remember Mutton Chop back in the day. I'm assuming he's still making videos. Isaac, I don't retrohale because I worry I will start inhaling again. Isaac, I respect your opinion, although technically, when I say we, when I refer to retrohale, it's not the French. It's not that. I think there's confusion about what retrohale means. When I was a teenager, I remember some cool kids in high school. They would use the word retrohale, which was some kind of like cigarette draw, where they would recycle the smoke, which would require inhaling, I think. But with retrohaling, in my opinion, and I've smoked cigarettes in my early 20s, cloves specifically, it's purely one exhale motion. So I wouldn't see it as a risk, but it depends on how you're defining or thinking about what retrohaling is and what it isn't. But I would definitely agree. If you think it's a risk, don't try it. And Jevy, I tell him he's missing out on a lot of flavor. Agreed. I used to when I was a cigarette smoker. Isaac, so again, I think maybe we have possibly different definitions of what retrohaling is. Maybe look up some YouTube videos about retrohaling, pipe videos about retrohaling, not cigarette videos about retrohaling. The French, so the French inhale and the retrohale, I think, has gotten confused in various communities. And Jevy, yes, he talking about your father-in-law. Yes, he doesn't know how. I tried teaching him. He can't do it. So I think he doesn't want to look stupid. So he just stopped trying. And Jevy, that's a great quote because it's got a steep learning pipe smoking, right? And so it's a tricky thing to teach someone because there's pressure trying to do it when someone's looking at you. I think it's one of those things you kind of gotta discover it for yourself. It's hard to do it on camera or under the gun, so to speak. Isaac, one time I tried to retrohale a cigar and I ended up in my lungs. There should be that should be hard to do, Isaac. I think it should be hard to do. The reason why is because I'll demonstrate one more time in a second here. The only risk for inhaling would be the draw, in my opinion. The draw is the biggest risk for inhaling. Once it's in your mouth, all you're doing is opening up your nasal cavity. It's all an exhale motion. It can be, you're going to exhale out your mouth. You're going to exhale out your mouth eventually anyway. So there's no more drawing. Um, yeah, yeah. Just in Isaac, in my early experience, when it happens occasionally by accident, it happens because you're just keeping smoke in your mouth, and naturally smoke rises to the top of your cavity, and so a little bit's gonna come out of your nose, even if you're not trying. And once I noticed that happening, I was like, shoot, 90%'s coming out my mouth, 10%'s coming out my nose. How do I adjust those ratios? I want a little more to come out my nose, a little less to come out my mouth. And so that's the little trick you learn. I'm with you, Jevy. It's like riding a bike. You can't pretend not to know how to ride a bike, and you cannot pretend not to know how. Sorry for the cicadas here. You cannot pretend to not know how to swim as well. Once you know how to do it, or not to be able to do it. I know many cigarette smokers and many former cigarette smokers, um, and I know many occasional cigarette smokers, social cigarette smokers. And forget about the pipe for a second. I've offered many of them cigars in the past, and for them, it's hard not to inhale just on the drawing motion because that's, when you're smoking a cigarette, you're drawing from your diaphragm. You're not drawing from the cheek muscle. But if you get the smoke in your mouth without any risk, then retrohaling should be a piece of cake. Give it enough practice. Well, let's change the view here. Not quite yet. I can hear boats in the distance, but I don't actually see them. In Jevy, I would agree. Maybe not 80%, but a majority. Depends on depends on the tobacco. The darker the tobacco, the more I get from retrohaling. The lighter the tobacco, I take that back. I take that back. The darker and more full flavor the tobacco, you almost don't need to retrohale as much. It's really the lighter tobaccos that I get the most difference out of when I really think about it. For example, an Ola Golden Slice could be boring if you don't retrohale. For those of us who smoke Burleys or even just occasionally Burleys or Burley blends, a straight Virginia, a bright Virginia could be a little boring. There's not a lot of body there, but it can get body with retrohaling. The real spiderweb, that's nice. Just joining the stream. Where are you camping? I'm just across the border in Tennessee, right across from the North Carolina border. going to get dark here in probably about an hour. You see the sun starting to set right over the camper. As soon as the sun sets, I'm going to light up a campfire. My Airbnb host has laid out some campfire wood over there with some hay. No lighter fluid, but last night I had success just using dried out hay. If the hammock dries out, I'll give that a shot as well. And if my cat comes back, he might hang out with me as well. Debbie, I think that's why my father-in-law smokes a lot of Burleys and doesn't like or understand Virginias. Burleys have fuller body mouthfeel. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I started out with Virginias, like most of us do, kind of the lighter blends. And then I smoked Burleys, and I think subconsciously I started retrohaling. And then went back to Virginias, and Virginias seemed boring, seemed too light, not enough body, not enough full flavor. And I think that's where I really focused on the retrohaling. Rustica. I haven't heard of it. For those of you just joining, we'll head down for one more visit down to the stream. I think some of you saw this about a half hour ago. We'll do it one more time before it gets too dark. The Airbnb I'm at is actually like a chicken farm and a duck farm. They also grow hemp. It's kind of an organic farm, a little bit of everything. Actually, this is really cool. Kind of a natural. There's a little bit of a waterfall back there. If the light picks it up. Stream goes all the way down. I'd love to have a kayak like right here. But unfortunately, I don't. A little sandbar way out there, if you can see it. A little beach, maybe. Not a sandbar. Very peaceful. Just what I needed this weekend. This is about the closest to camping that I get. Some kind of trailer in a camping site. I slept in a tent about 7 years ago, and I realized I'm too old for that. I like being out in nature. I just don't want to sleep in a tent. If there was a Marriott like right there, but it had like this outside, that'd be perfect. Right around midnight, I could check in and sleep, but I could stay out here up until that point. I had enough I had enough discomfort in my 30s. I was big into motorcycling in my 30s, and talk about discomfort. That's a young man's game. Long distance motorcycling. Really glad I did it, but don't have the patience for it these days. You know what, guys? We can continue this tour. I'm going to take you up to the farm. Go see some ducks. I got my phone is in my pocket, so the hotspot basically follows me anywhere. We'll go see if we can see some more livestock or wild animals. There's the dog. Oh wait. I think the ducks must be in the river. There were some chickens out here earlier too. I can't tell if this is a chicken coop or a duck coop. Chicken coop. I see a little heater there. So you don't think there's something to the Stoics when they say you should put yourself through discomfort? Oh, there he is. Well, like I said, I think I've had enough discomfort for a while, or in my 30s at least. A few times a week, cold showers, sleeping on the floor and such. You know, I've moved so often. I've moved every 3 years, sometimes multiple times per year. That I think I've had enough discomfort. Uh oh. Now we got dogs. All right. I'm more of a cat guy. I've been converted. It's good to have protection, though. Well, I'm not actually camping. This is an Airbnb. Oh. Dog's getting a little too close for comfort. The Airbnb is actually that camper. So I'm not camping. I'm Airbnb. Uh-oh. We've now made some friends. All right, guys, give me some space here. Give me some space. No. They're going fishing, I guess. No. No. They belong to the owners of the property. I just rented the trailer for 2 days, and the dogs and the cats are on the property. So when I checked in last night, this is my last night here. So it's a 2-night vacation. As soon as I got here, dogs came out, cat came up. It was like a Dr. Doolittle experience. That's the beauty of Airbnb these days. I can live, I can, I can get the experience of a pet owner without actually needing to own pets. Very nice trailer. Very nice trailer. Anybody else smoking anything? Or anybody else bought anything recently? I'm going to type in the tobaccos I have back at my place back in Winston-Salem. I got some GLPs, triple play. I've got Cornell and Deal. Sunday Picnic. Those are two that I have. I got some University Flake. What I showed earlier. I have some Irish Flake. I have a cigar leaf blend. I have Billy Bud Blonde. Yeah, those are the tobaccos I have at my place. I brought some of those with me. Debbie, I've been smoking a lot of Carolina Red Flake, I'm assuming, which is a limited edition, from what I recall, and Bijou, which I had a sample of many years ago, and I haven't had it recently. Pepe, I have here my Hamburg Beermaster Presbyterian mixture, old Gowrie. Love me some old Gowrie. Got that Dark Fire Kentucky in it. Comes in that yellow tin. Never had Midnight Rider, and I don't know what Hamburg Beermaster is. And Jebby, I would actually recommend the Billy Bud Blonde is okay. If I had my choice, I'd probably still go back to what is it? There's a cigar leaf blend that's a flake by Cornell and Deal. I can see the tin art. I can't remember the name. I've talked about it many times. But that's still my favorite. I'm a huge fan of Orientals. So if Bijou is Oriental heavy, that would probably be a blend up my alley. In Jebby, I'm going to type in my favorite Oriental blend. Check out Oriental Silk by Cornell and Deal.
As far as I know, it doesn't come in a tin. Maybe it does these days in the 2 ounce. But Oriental Silk, you talk about that sour, almost like a sour cream type of taste. That's my favorite. Unlike other blends that have a little bit of Oriental, this is a Oriental forward blend. And that's why I love it so much. Oh, Pepe, you remember that one? Yeah. What I call the three cousins or the three sisters of Rat Red. Isaac, I'm probably not a Isaac. If I had to guess, I would assume that you're relatively new to the hobby, maybe 2 years or under. I'm no joke. I'm probably not the best person to ask for my top tobaccos because um, I started with this many, then filtered down this many, then filtered down this many. If you're relatively new to the hobby, I would just I would recommend what I do, which is just sample as much as you can. The reason why is because some of my memory of tobaccos I love, those blends could have changed from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And so I'd hesitate to recommend them because some of my own favorites have changed over time. And I kind of feel uneasy about buying them myself anymore, let alone recommending them to somebody else. But the ones that I have no issue with would be Oriental Silk for sure, Sunday Picnic for sure. It's a no lose situation. I never had a bad batch or a bad tin. I'm gonna put tobacco that I no longer have, but it's cream of the crop in my opinion. Oak Alley. I think Oak Alley is approachable from whether you're new to pipe smoking, whether you're highly experienced. It is a little dark. It's a little bold, but it's not so bold that it would turn anybody off. It's a great example of a bold blend. Ingetti, try Bijou again. I wouldn't say it's heavy into orange. Still Virginia forward. Okay. Quiet. Quiet, guys. I really want those ducks to come back. I played with cats. I played with dogs in the last 24 hours. I have yet to befriend a duck. That's my goal for this evening. Key Largo, Ingetti, yes, Key Largo. So to give reference to what I mean by Key Largo, I was talking about Billy Bud Blanc blend. So it has notes of cigar. I think Key Largo, after many many years of trying it, and after many many years of trying other cigar leaf blends, I would say Key Largo is right there at the top for me. The only other one is Embarcadero. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Embarcadero has a little bit of cigar leaf. It's nowhere near as cigar heavy as Key Largo, but I think it does have some cigar leaf in it, and it was fantastic. Um, go check out the cat in my car here. And Debbie, you'd have to go to tobaccoreviews.com, check for me. I can't recall if it has Oriental. It wouldn't surprise me if it does.
That's just adorable. Nah, that vehicle's got over 115,000 miles on it. So I'm not too concerned. Oh, we got some kayakers coming down the stream here. Anybody else camping out there? All right, Pepe. Have a good evening, brother. I didn't know you could kayak down this river, but apparently you can. All right, guys. I'm going to hop off here in a minute. Wish you all a happy Labor Day weekend. I'll stick around for a few minutes in case there's any last questions. And Jebby, have a good weekend, brother. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. We'll see you next time. Thanks.